Hey, according to Boomer Esiason, my colleague, the team that was given absolutely no chance of having a winning record before the season even started has now won 3 straight. They boast a 3-2 record. So who better to talk about the Jets Jets other than the greatest Jet of all time, the greatest of them all, Mr. Joe Willie Namath. Good to have you back, buddy.
Thank you, James. Good to be here with you and the team.
You know, Joe, it's great to see you. You know, I love you, I respect you, and I hate you. And the part of me that hates you is the New York Jet quarterback part of me, who basically had to play in the shadow of the great Joe Willie Namath. Anybody who's ever worn the green jersey and has played your position, because let's face it, it is your position. We've all had to live up to those lofty standards that you set for us. So the quarterback in me that played for the Jets for those 3 years, I hate you.
But you know what? He said that speech to a lot of people about a lot of different things. So you're not
And about a lot of other people.
So what do you think? Are you shocked that the Jets are 3-2?
I'm not shocked, but I'm pleasantly surprised. It's great to see them win a few games here in a row. That says a lot for the team, and it gives them a lot of confidence.
You know, when I look at the Jets, a couple things come to mind. Todd Bowles, you know, he's real calm, and you see him on the side, always goes to the press conference. He's not a coach that's going to win the press conference. But you know what he's got? He's got a young team this year, and he's got a young team, and what that young team is eager. So his message comes across. And I don't know if anybody knows Todd Bowles, but when you go watch the Jets practice, it's not a day in the park. I mean, they practice hard.
He's tough, but I will say this from the offensive standpoint. Johnny Morton, their new offense coordinator, and the oldest player in the team happens to be the 38-year-old quarterback, Josh McCown. And you and I can attest to this. He's basically stabilized the entire franchise, it looks like.
No doubt.
At least to this point.
And he threw the ball better than I've ever seen him throw it last week against Cleveland. I mean, he was throwing strikes, hitting guys where he needed to put the ball. So definitely they need that leadership. But again, we got a long way to go.
We got a long way to go, but I think a lot of credit has to go to third-year coach Todd Bowles. I mean, if you watch what he's doing from a leadership standpoint, Joe, like the players want to play for him. And you can kind of sense that on the sideline. He comes to the sideline, the conversation that he's having with the player. And from my perspective, have you had any conversations with Todd Bowles to be connected to that organization?
Yes, I have, the beginning of the season, and I like him. I've liked his demeanor. And to me, you know, this is a fraternity, the coaching guys. They all go together. When he let the assistant coaches go and changed the assistant coaches, that showed something. He knew there were problems there. It was no necessarily buddy, we'll get through this together stuff. Yeah. He needed to make a change, and he did it with his coaching staff, too.
Well, he understands. You know, he's an ex-player. He was a safety. I'm sure he intercepted a few passes from you during your
Probably
career.
more from you because you played in your
Well, maybe so, but
division.
you know, but he does kind of understand.
always.
But you got to give him credit for Mike McCagnon, the general manager. All the players they have brought in this year to stabilize this football team. No big stars. Coney Ely, guys that were cut by other teams. They get Jermaine Kearse from the Seattle Seahawks in a trade. You know, guys that have made real contributions and stabilized the franchise.
But winners, though.
Winners, no question.
Kearse comes from a winning program.
Hey, speaking of winners, that provides a segue. Joe, can you even believe that Jet fans, according to what Boomer and Phil were telling me, were hoping prior to the season that they would tank going into the season so they can get a better draft choice?
Well, I've even heard a former coach say it's better to go 1-15 than it is 8-8, because then you're going to get a draft pick, a high draft pick. But knowing the animal, at least the animals I knew when we played together, you know, you're brought up to get out there and give your best. You're not going to get a team. Todd Bowles isn't going to allow it to happen as a coach. You go out there to do your best and win every single time. There is no lying down. They're trying to win, man.
As a competitor, as you have always been, did that offend you to even hear that kind of talk, Joe?
I'm not offended. It's silly. It's so silly. Go ahead. It's entertainment. People want to think that way and look forward to the draft already. Go right ahead. It's
an
their
amazing
business.
thing. Fans didn't really know what to expect. And this is why I was talking about the whole tanking scenario. It really comes from the media here in New York and all the decisions that Mike McCagnon made. Get rid of David Harris. Get rid of Eric Decker. Trade Sheldon Richardson. Let Brandon Marshall walk away across the street to the Giants. Think about all of those players that are no longer there, and now this team has got a 3-game winning streak. It's really quite amazing. And now all of a sudden, I sense here in New York that there is a legitimate pride about being a Jet fan. Now, that thing could dissipate in the next couple of weeks, but I could say right now, I think most Jet fans are pretty happy.
The Jets are playing dirty, ugly football, right?
I like that.
Yeah, keep the game close. And at the end of the game, they're going to win it. But, Joe, I got to ask you. You know, I was a kid, a young kid when you was doing your thing, right? I was maybe not even born.
They might have been around yet.
But you're known for your guarantees. So this is the one time I'm going to ask you, can we guarantee a victory for the Jets this week against the Patriots?
No. We cannot guarantee a victory in this situation, but I know they'll be trying like heck.